Go behind enemy lines. Die, try again. Die, try again. Die, try again. Finally, reach the helicopter. Then die. If anyone has ever experienced Rambo First Blood Part 2, then this all sounds very familiar. Good times. The game surfaced in 1986, and in my eyes is an instant classic. It's a thrilling and disturbingly difficult military shoot-'em-up played from a top-down perspective, in which you take control of your little bandana-wearing John Rambo and press through areas littered with goons rescuing trapped POWs on the way. At the start of the music for the game's loader, a Morse code message plays, which shows all of the game's developers. However, it includes a typo where every instance of the letter I is missing a dot, and thus transmitted as the letter E. The tone also changes pitch twice when the music does. You can't really talk about Rambo without touching the subject of the movies, but few people seem to be aware that the movies themselves were based on a 1972 novel by David Morrell. This cinematic sequel could be considered fan fiction, since the original novel was a one-off.
I'm coming to get you.
Whilst only technically having one level split into 3 different sections, it was far from easy. Even from the very start, you'll have to avoid ridiculous amounts of bullets flying around the screen, fired from swarming, indistinct enemies. You have an energy bar which whittles down as the bullets hit you. Once that's gone, it's game over. Sometimes almost instantly you'll go from a full bar of health right down to where it's flashing a very memorable silver and white, signifying that the next tickle from an enemy will finish you off. But you are always compelled to continue. You have a number of weapons available from the start: throwing knives, arrows, and rocket-propelled grenades, all of which can be cycled through by hitting the spacebar, and you can supplement these by picking up other weapons in the field, such as this machine gun and some grenades. To be honest, the machine gun is no better than your standard throwing knife, since all enemies are killed in one hit anyway. I remember discovering this weapon ages after I bought the game and wondered how I missed it first time round, but never ventured over to this part of the map before. I love the sound effect from this gun though. With explosive weapons you can destroy buildings and make all sorts of mess, but the knives, regular arrows and machine gun bullets won't make a scratch on the structures. I found that turning off the music will also alert more enemies when firing the machine gun or the rocket launcher, which was a strange mechanic, but you definitely notice that using the knife will be more inconspicuous. Alas, once you reach the dense tree line, you need to switch to your rocket launcher and blast through. Shame you can't just sneak through the trees, but what's the fun in that? In the southern end of a sparse jungle, you make your way north to the enemy encampment, and there are 2 ways you can enter. On the left, through a maze of tangled trees and bushes we just mentioned, or on the right, by blowing a hole in the fence using an RPG. Usually, however, I'd always take the left side when playing this as a kid. Once you're in the camp, you must then rescue this tied up POW, then blast your way through the jungle northwards and find the chopper. Which you will use to make your escape later. The second section of the level then begins, where you have to fly back into camp, free the caged POWs in the southern end using your knife to open the cage, then make it back to the chopper. Section 3 is a rather anticlimactic dogfight with an enemy gunship, where you're both flying rings around each other trying to shoot each other down. It's a shame there wasn't more focus on this section from a programming point of view, but I think this was another of those movie titles that Ocean once again wanted to get onto the shelves as soon as possible. Could have been epic if they'd designed a whole new stage for this part. Anyway, good luck trying to make it past the gunship. For those of you who struggle with this last part, there's a strange bug which can be applied as a cheat of sorts. Pulling both joysticks in the opposite directions will make your helicopter fly north very fast in a backwards manner, effectively leaving the enemy gunship eating your dust. I don't remember how we discovered this back in '86, but it certainly wasn't Google, that's for sure. Pure luck, no doubt. One strange design was the controller-driven choose your alphabet name entry before starting the game. Usually, with games, the high score names are added at the end, when you died, with a decent score. But, in an exhaustingly silly way, you need to choose it before you begin the game. The amount of times I was just named AAA just to get on with the game is nostalgic enough. Also, the background music here is memorable, even though it didn't seem to fit in with the other in-game music. The rather unintrusive score, energy and weapons display at the bottom of the screen takes my vote for the purest stroke of genius. Even though it's all down there, you can still see the terrain scrolling behind everything without any problems. The selected weapons can be seen having a flashing sort of an effect, and the energy bar will make the text use inverted colours as it depletes, taking no more room from the screen than necessary. So what would a fanatic action junkie of a retro gamer require from a game that is supposed to represent one of the most action-packed movies of all time? Fast and furious action, preferably lots of explosions and a great soundtrack to go with it if possible. But most of all, good playability. You can't really enjoy a game unless it's thoroughly playable, and I think that this game is definitely playable, even though it's just mega short. I think it definitely had something to do with the awesome Martin Galway musical accompaniment, which in itself brings back a million memories. There will be some that consider this to be a little overrated all the same, and many compare the genre and style to being something of a Commodore clone. But one thing's for sure, both games have the best music maestros adding some of their best work, and by that they ensured that we will always remember these games for what they are, classics, and that's all that matters. War is hell. Big thumbs up. Thanks for watching, guys. Hit the like button if you enjoyed the video, and be sure to share your memories of Rambo in the comment section. Did you love this game, or did you find it a little too difficult? I'd be interested to know. Hit subscribe if you're enjoying the nostalgic memories and want more Commodore classics coming your way. There's plenty already up there on the channel playlists, and more coming next. Stick around, and I'll hopefully see you all in the next one. Until then, bye for now.